Shenichnas Adar Marben Besimcha. And today we're standing so close to Purim Cotton. It's the week of Purim Cotton. And today there's a Simcha in Beis Menachem Mendel, the daughter of Chaim Shmuel, Olam HaSholem, Fegel, his engagement party. Chaim. Especially Chaim. Yeah, Chaim Shmuel.
No, don't leave it there.
Yeah, Chaim Shmuel used to come to all the shiurim when I don't know how great his English was.
I can't see from here.
But he came to every single shiur during the week. Maybe shall help him. And he should be a good better for his kids, for all Klal Yisrael, that we should have Mashiach Tzidkenu. So people ask a lot of times, it's like funny, what kind of simcha are we talking about? The Forshim say, simcha mitzvah. Well, yeah, a simcha usually means a mishnah. Baruch Hashem, we're doing it right now. But if you're going to do it for all 60 days of Adar, it's not, and then you're going to have Shmaltz on Pesach. If you're going to go jogging 2 hours a day in the summer, you're still not going to make it. So what's Tokman? It's interesting. I see now that there's a letter from the Rebbe. The Rebbe says, Marben B'Simcha is not an outcome. Because a person did something from that, he gets Simcha. It's Simcha B'Torah also. It can even be in Yonah Rishus. Marben B'Simcha doesn't mean Mishta, Simcha, doesn't mean necessarily Simcha Shal Mitzvah. It means Simcha. It's a Zayin Freilich. Simple, it's a Zayin Freilich. To make it lebedik in your house, and to maybe buy some nice gift to for your wife, and something special for your children, or maybe to say a joke and to tickle the little kids. And kipshute. Simcha b'Torah also. There's a beautiful word from the Rebbe about there's some Meforshim that say that the Simcha is only when there's 2 Adars, only the second Adar. The Sheilos Yavit says so, others, but it's only the second Adar. And they say that's. So the Rebbe says, no, it's all 60 days. What's the Rebbe's Raya? Because the Gemara says, and if a Yid has a thing with a goy, you should try to push it off in court to come in Adar. Come in Adar, the Yid is going to win, because the Yid is body mazel, the strong mazel on Chodesh Adar. So try to push off your court case to Adar. Adar, you're going to win. And now she says, what's so special about Adar? Yomim Tovim Hoyol Yisrael Purim and Pesach. That Adar is great. It has Purim and Pesach in it. Hello, Pesach. You're off by 14 days, 15 days. Even little kids know that Pesach doesn't fall out on Purim, even though they have a joke. How does Pesach fall out on Purim when Mr. Pesach, or when a person whose name is Pesach falls on Purim, then Pesach can fall on Purim. That's after a couple of Chayims. I mean, Pesach doesn't usually fall on Purim. So, Meforshim don't have any satisfactory answer. Say Rashi meant that if the 60 days, the Purim that's close to Pesach is the main one, therefore you should be Simcha only 30 days. Obviously, the Rebbe is not going to buy such a pshat. So the Rebbe has a brilliant pshat. It's unbelievable. It's like just sometimes simplicity but brilliance. The Rebbe says, the Gemara says, "Kashem shenichnas av mamatem b'simcha, kach shenichnas arba marvim b'simcha." Just like when Av comes in, you decrease the simcha. When Adar comes in, you increase the simcha. All the Meforshim ask, what's the connection? Kishem. Just say, when Av comes in, less simcha. When Adar comes in, more simcha. What's the connection? Kishem. Just like. Well, what's the just like? It's a play of words. So the Moirei Naim, Chassidus Yisforim have a beautiful pshat. Kishem shenichnas Av, just like when Av goes in. How are you memad? How do you decrease the negativity in the world? Through simcha. When Adar comes in Marbin, how do you increase the positivity? Again, the same answer. But that's a Chassidus pshat. It's nice, and it's true. Your heart tells you that that's not exactly what the Gemara meant. The Pnimizdik pshat. How do you read it? The Rebbe has an unbelievable pshat. The Gemara says, what's unique about Chodesh Av? Why the whole Av? The Gemara says there are 2 things about Av. Number one, it's a Yom Chayiv. The Gemara says Megalgal and Schus Yom Zakai, Machoyvel Yom Chayiv. It's a day which already has a negativity. The Eibusha said you were crying all night that you don't want to go into Eretz Yisrael. It's Tisha B'av night. When the Meraglim came back and you cried for nothing, I'm going to make it a Bechiyah L'Doidus. That all bad things are going to happen to Yidden on that day. The Churban, the first Beis HaMikdash happened to Shabbat, the second Beis HaMikdash happened to Shabbat. All kinds of tragedies that happened to Klal Yisrael throughout history happened on Tisha B'Av. So it's a Yom Chayiv, and that casts a negativity on the whole month. And the second thing is, and that's why Yid that has a court case to try very hard not to have an Chodesh Av. The second thing is the Gemara says Huchpelu B'Yatzoros, that the Tzoros in Av was double. First and second Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. So the Gemara is saying Kishem, just like in Av, there is this idea of a negative day, which spells its cast on the whole month. Plus, it's double Tzoros. Also in Adar, there's such a day. Which day is it? That's what you would say. So here comes the Rebbe's brilliant answer. Unbelievable. Zayin Adar. Because that's the day Moshe Rabbeinu was born. And Moshe is the Rebbe of Klal Yisrael. So when his mazel is strong, and the Yerushalmi says the day of a person's birthday, his mazel is strong. And Moshe Rabbeinu is connected to two Yomim Tovim. Pesach, you don't have to explain how Moshe Rabbeinu is connected to Pesach, because he took the Yidden out of Mitzrayim. But how is Moshe Rabbeinu connected to Purim? Simple, because the Medrash says that Haman wanted to figure out which month will kill the Jews. So he will Purim, and every Chodesh said, this is not a good Chodesh, it's a good mazel for the Yidden, it's a good schus. And he came to Adar, he said, that's the best one.
Why didn't he pick up?
Huh?
Why didn't he pick up?
I don't know. It's fool. And he came into Adar, and he said, because Moshe Rabbeinu passed away in that month. And he was a fool. He didn't know that Moshe Rabbeinu was born in that month. So we see that the mazel, that the Yidden was saved on Purim because of the mazel of Moshe Rabbeinu. Because the mazel of Moshe Rabbeinu was goyver and made the whole Chodesh, ha-Chodesh ha-Shenefach lahem l'zimcha. Me'ebel Yom Tov. So that's what Rashi is saying. There's a day in this month which is a very powerful day. Which day? Zayin Adar. And therefore, that has Purim u'Pesach, Yomim Tovim, Zayin Adar. Zayin Adar gives us Purim and Pesach. That's why it's a Yom Zakai. It's the birthday of Moshe Rabbeinu, the birthday of a tzaddik. People wonder what's so big about Yud Aleph Nissen. The birthday of a tzaddik. And then it's two things. It's a Yom Zakai and Huchpulu Boy Nissen, double Nissen. Purim and Pesach. That's what Rashi is saying. And Rashi is saying it was a special day. Which day? Zayin Adar. If you think you heard of Blim Shat, wait one more second. When did Moshe Rabbeinu pass away? Zayin Adar. That year that he passed away was, and also the year that he was born was a Ibayur. There was two Adars. So which Adar did he pass away? The Magen Avram says the first Adar. So how can you tell me that the Simcha is in the second Adar when the whole reason of the Simcha is the birthday of Moshe Rabbeinu and Moshe Rabbeinu was born in the first Adar?
It was an Iber year?
It was an Iber year that year.
I thought the Iber year was only after the calendars were started.
No, they had it back then. When Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, there was already the mitzvah of, what's it called? Yeah, so they made that year. But the passing away was the year. Yeah, it's Negei Lagabi. The question: there are some people that fast on the day Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. So the Magen Avram says to fast on the first Adar.
He was born also.
No, the morning is not clear. It's not clear. But he passed away. He passed away. So we say that the passing away is connected to the day of the birth. But it says that those that fast in the yahrzeit of, in general, there's a machloikis when to do a yahrzeit. A person has a yahrzeit to do it like Mr. Fagel. Yes, he has a yahrzeit, so the Sheilos is a machloikis. The Sfardim do it the second Adar, and the Ashkenazim do it the first Adar. However, it's said that that a person should try to do both. You should try to what's so difficult to do. If you're just saying Kaddish, it's not that complicated to do.
Make a kiddush.
If you're going to make a kiddush, you can make a bigger kiddush in the first Adar and a smaller kiddush the second Adar.
That was my question.
So we do both. But in general, the bottom line is that the Sephardim do the second and the Ashkenazim do the first.
But it's also day of Chevra Kadisha, so they also celebrate this day. Zayin Adar. Chevra Kadisha celebrate this day.
I don't know, the Lubavitch Chevra Kadisha doesn't do it in Zayin Adar. They do it in the middle of the winter. They do it on the smallest... Yeah, they do it in the smallest day because they fast that day. So they do it in the smallest day.
Because I heard this, they celebrate Zayin Adar because it's this day Hashem Burim Moshe
that's why it's cute. And I just know that Lubavitch Chevra Kadisha do it in the middle of the winter. They eat the smallest day of the year. So they don't have to fast so much. They fast on the day, so it's hard. Okay. So anyway, we shouldn't know of any. Oh, so just to finish off, when do we say it's a shaila? It's when the person passed away on a regular Adar. But if a person passes away on an Ibar Yor, like Moshe Rabbeinu who passed away in Hoshana Muberes, then you don't say Machloikis Ashkenazim Sephardim. First one, second one, there's no shaila. You find when did he pass away? First Adar, you keep the first Adar. Second Adar, second Adar. There's no Machloikis Sephardim Ashkenazim here. If he passed away on an Ibar Yor, similar would be if a person has a birthday. So when do I celebrate? If a person was born on an Ibar Yor, what's the shaila?
Should we fast if we can on Zayin Adar?
No.
Should we make a little kiddush?
Zayin Adar, sure. Definitely. So to summarize, when there's keeping a yard site or a thing, or even a Yom if in Chodesh Adar, so the Sephardim keep it the second month, Ashkenazim the first, it's better to do both. If the person was nifter on a Ibar Yor, then you'd go with when he was nifter. So the Rebbe says, the whole mile of Adar is Moshe Rabbeinu's mazel is goiver, and at least the yortzeit we know was on a Ibar Yor, and the yortzeit and the birthday is connected because it says that by Moshe Ben Ebishter was memala miyom liyoim. His birthday was exactly the same as his yortzeit, so it stands to reason that at least conceptually that as a shachas with the first Adar. So there's and the whole simcha comes from Moshe Rabbeinu. So versteht sich, it's not 30 days of simcha, it's 60 days of simcha. Bottle b'shish, you got it.
All right, the Hebrew calendar,
Yeah.
the Hebrew birthday,
Yeah.
when the person born, it's the same like the English. It's the same day as the English. Later on, it's
Right, exactly.
the same day, right?
Right, yeah. Sometimes they equalize. Okay, next shayla. There's a Yid in the shul that I don't know how, miraculously, about every Friday night, he misses saying Vayachulu with the minyan. So he makes it his business to get someone else to say Vayachulu with him. He says that's the halacha. That's the halacha. Not everyone likes to say Vayichulu with him. People sometimes have a few orchim waiting for them. The wife is waiting for them. They're a little confused about this whole funny thing, standing and saying Vayichulu with this guy.
This Friday I said it with him.
So now I'm going to give you the ammunition, so next Shabbos you don't have to say it with him. Okay? So here it is. This week's Parsha is B'Shamru B'nei Yisrael as a Shabbos, Lassus as a Shabbos, that the Yid make the Shabbos. How does a Yid make the Shabbos? So the Gemara says that a Yid that says Vayichulu Friday night becomes a Shutaf LaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Ma'aseh Bereish. Unbelievable thing. Let's read it inside, because it's not a complicated question. It's a very nishmaka sugya, it's delicious. But like everything in Torah, there's nuances, so we want to go through it, and that's why I have the worksheet here, so you can see the Gemara, and you don't have to hearsay. I'm not giving you a pshat, you can see everything, and we can work it through together. Gemara says, Tshuva, Isa Masach Shabbos, says the Gemara Shabbos. Omar Rov, Avitem, Reb Shmuel Levi, Rov, Reb Shmuel Levi say, Afila Yochid HaMispalel, even a person that is davening b'Yochid, in other words, without a minyan, he's davening at home, Be'erev Shabbos, it means Friday night. Tzorech lema vayichulu, must say vayichulu. Amar Rav Nuna kol mispal by the Shabbos v'hem v'yichud malal v'kotzet kilo nasa shuta v'kadosh baruch hu b'maisa v'reishis. A person that davens Friday night and he says v'yichulu is becoming a partner to the Eibishter, as if him and the Eibishter created the world together. Shenem is v'yichulu, not v'yichal, v'yichulu. Him and the Eibishter.
Plural.
Him and the Eibishter. Plural, right. Amar Chizda Amar Baruch kol mispal by the Shabbos v'hem v'yichulu. Every person that davens Erev Shabbos says v'yichulu. Shnei malach yashar malavan l'odam. Two angels accompany the person. They put their hands on his head. They say to him, unbelievable, very powerful. If you say V'yachul Friday night, number one, you become a partner to the Eibishter creation of the world. Number two malachim put their hands on your head, and they say all your sins are melted away.
When I come home, I feel heavy in my head. I don't understand why.
I feel light.
4 hands.
It's heavy, yeah. So the Lamaisa we say 3 times Vayachulu. We say 3 times Vayachulu. It's brought down Yerabah from this that Api the Zoya, Api Kabbalah. You must say 3 times Vayachulu, 3 times is Chazaka, also 3 times is Keneged 3 Oilamas. Which 3 Oilamas? So that's to do with what we learned Shabbos morning. That Friday night we say Koine Shemayim Baretz. Eibishter is Koine. Koine is Boirish Shemayim Baretz. Eibishter created the world. So we say no, because the whole world in the 6 days of the week is like, it looks like in Rosh Hashanah. It's a jungle. But the Yid picks up the sparks of Kedusha in the 6 days of the week by going to his Asik and saying Shema, Echad and V'ahavta, and everything that's connected to the Yid is elevated to the Eibishter, to Yerusha Yochid on Shabbos. The Mela, it's Koine, the Eibishter's Koine, it goes out from Bri, Yitzir, and Asiyah, and has Aliyah into Atzilus. So it goes up from Asiyah to Bria, from Asiyah to Yitzir to Bria, 3 Oilamas, go up into Atzilus. The Eibishter is Koine Shemayim Baretz, and therefore the Yid becomes a partner with the Eibishter. Okay, we say 3 times Vayachulu in Shmon Esrei, after Shmon Esrei, and also by Kiddush. The Alter Rebbe brings from the Tur, brings to Sefer Chassid, very unbelievable thing. You know, that's usually stories in Shulchan Aruch. Highly unusual to have stories in Shulchan Aruch. This is mamish a handful of places in Shulchan Aruch. I didn't bring it here. The pages doesn't hold enough, and I don't like to do inside. Unbelievable. It's that the Sefer Chassidim says there was once a Chassid Echad that his friend passed away. His friend came to him in his dream. His face was green. The nifter, his face was green. So he said, "What happened to you?" He was a Chatzadik. Even bigger, he was a Chassid Echad. So he said, the Friday night, when everyone used to say Vayachulu, B'Koil Ram, I used to talk to my friend. And even later, even worse, that when the Chazan was saying Mein Sheva, I was also talking. And by Kaddish, in the beginning of Yiskadl, I wasn't paying attention. That's what he said. And this is brought in Sefer Chassidim. The Tur usually doesn't quote stories B'chlal, especially not from Sefer Chassidim. And now, it's quoted in the Tur, it's quoted in the Shulchan Aruch, the Mishnah Berurah, and the Alter Rebbe. It's like a very interesting thing. So Vayachul is a very important field that we say Friday night.
A lot of people,
when
the Chazan repeats Shmona Esrei in Richard Shabbat, when he finished, they come over and they say Vayachul again. They come to you and say Vayachul.
Okay. So now I'm going to explain why that, what the idea that is. But as a beautiful chiddush from the Gemara, like the Gemara is it's unbelievable. It's so sharp, it's so simple. The Gemara says that even you mispal b'yochid, even if it's your b'yochid, you say v'yachulu. Why would I think different? You say even if you daven b'yochid, you should say lefoenu. Obviously, why should the Shemona Esrei change if I daven? If the Gemara says you should say v'yachulu in Shemona Esrei Friday night, right? We say it. Gemara says no. Not only when you daven with a minion, also when you daven at home. Why would I think differently? So the answer is like this. The Gemara says, and look at the next piece. That the testimony doesn't work unless the 2 Eidim stand together and they say the testimony. If Nasan Omer, no, it's not true. Shem Dvarav Shel Zahayom, Shiyov Echavenu Lamocha, Shem is Dvarav. And that's the Psat in Shulchan Aruch HaShemishpat, Simalamed, that they don't have to say the Eidos together. Reuven comes Sunday, they cross-examine him. And they say, okay, Yeshakayach, have a nice day. Monday, they bring in Shimon. They cross-examine him. They say, have a nice day. Then they see if it makes sense. Reuven and Shimon don't have to walk in together. They don't have to see each other. That's the machloikis, and the halacha is like Reb Nosson. The halacha is like Reb Nosson. That they, and even better, you're supposed to be said separately, because you're supposed to cross-examine them separately, because if they're going to stand together, the guy's going to look with his eye this way and wink this way, so we take them in a separate room. Dafka take them in a separate room. We want to Dafka cross-examine the witnesses in a different room.
So it doesn't matter when.
It doesn't matter when. Yeah, it can be Sunday, Monday.
Is there a time limit, like a year?
No time limit. So there's mamish. So we're soon going to see the Torah says that you're supposed to stand and say it with an Eida Shleima when you say Vayachulu. Why? Because the Yidden are saying testimony to the world that the Eibishter created the world. When the Yidden say Vayachulu, how are they becoming a partner to the Eibishter? Because they're saying testimony that the Eibishter created the world. And that's what the Eibishter wants. The Eibishter created the world, the world should know that he exists. Because the Yidden declare that the Eibishter exists in the world, they become a partner to the Eibishter in the whole idea of the creation of the world. Because the Tachlis was to declare that there's an Eibishter in the world. So the Yidden are saying testimony. The din is, when the person says testimony, you must stand. You can't sit when you say testimony. Also, you have to stand. Also, that. That's why Vayechul you have to stand. And also, Eidos have to say the Eidos together. Therefore, the whole Kehillah says it together.
So in today's court system, and the way with the stand, you sit.
Yeah, but in Bezin you're not allowed to sit. You have to stand Kipshuta. The witness stand Kipshuta, you have to stand. Al Pidin, you have to stand. Because you're standing with Fnei Elokim, and therefore you have to stand.
You do stand when you take the oath.
But in Bezin, B'Shas, the entire Eidos, when you speak to Eidos, you have to stand the entire time. Therefore, you stand by Vayechulu, and the Torah says, number 2, that's why it's Eidos Shleim, and the whole Eidos says it's together, not one person.
How about the Shamu Bnei Israel? It's not the same category?
No, Shamu is a different thing altogether.
That's why Chabad doesn't say it?
Vayechulu is a Beferish Gemara. That's a Gemara that says to say Vayechulu. So,
Why is it even a sit?
why is it in the Siddur? We'll have to do it for another time. Lena will try to remember for next week.
It's to be in the Siddur, people ask questions. Why are we not
Read it in the... No, read it.
So, sagt der Gra, that versteht sich, the Magen Avraham says exactly the same thing. That l'chatchila, they should have a whole, the whole Kehillah says it together. Because we want to do like the Tanakama. But the halacha is that you don't have to stand together. The halacha is you don't have to have two witnesses together. So why are you telling me you have to be together? L'chatchila. Some of Foshim say because Din Nefoshes, it has to be the two witnesses are together. And Shabbos is Din Nefoshes because we declare Shabbos is holy. So Mechalala Mois Yumas. That's not a good pshat. Number one, that's not why. A person's going to get killed if he desecrates Shabbos. If people said Veichul, didn't say Veichul. Number one. Number two, it's not clear that that's the din. It doesn't say anywhere that that's the din. It says by din and mominus you could take the witness separately Sunday and Tuesday. But it doesn't say by din and fosh, it's different. Anyway, so therefore the Gross says, a person, brilliant pshat, a person might think that because there's a machloikes, we don't know how the Gemara passed. The Gemara is not telling us clearly. You might think the loch is like the Tanakama, that the two witnesses have to stand together. So if I'm a spal in my home beyochid, I'm the only one in the room, so I shouldn't say v'yechulu. That's why the Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Terishu Maleva, Afili Yachid Mispal B'Erev Shabbos. Tzarich Lema v'yechulu. Even a Yachid, because the halacha is like Ramnos, that the witnesses don't have to stand together, say it together. So you already have your answer. You see where it's going. The bottom line is, it's only l'chatchila. It's a nice thing that the whole Eidah, the whole, because we want to also because the Torah brings v'nikdash b'chvoidi. Not because it wouldn't, but the smell is. Note also not only because of Rebam, the nikdash b'chvoidi. It's like just like kedusha. You say with Because we're sanctifying Hashem's name. We're declaring to the world that the Eibishter created the world. And that's a Kiddush Hashem. And a Kiddush Hashem is better when it's done with 10 people that are there. So because it's an inyan of Kiddush Hashem, therefore there should be a Eidah Shleima. But if you miss the minyan, just like in the you say the Vayechulu Shmoneh Esrei, the same thing the Vayechulu after Shmoneh Esrei, the same thing the Vayechulu in the Kiddush, you could say it B'Yochid and there's no problem.
Okay, so what's the point of saying it a bunch of
What's the point of saying it a few times? Is Api Kabbalah, there's an inyan of saying it like a Chazaka 3 times, as I said before, and there's Aliyah of 3 elements. Api Nigla, there's like this. Because the Shulchan Aruch is, we're going to see it. We'll see it right now. It says why. Shulchan Aruch, third paragraph. Shulchan Aruch Tzimeresh Lamachesef Ha'ala Pasuk Loima Vayechulu B'Tfilah. And you should say the Vayechulu in the Tfilah. Mamshech and continues Shulchan Aruch and Siv Zayin Choyzim Loima Vayechulu, that we say after Shmoneh Esrei, second time Vayechulu. Shum Yom Tov Shechol is b'Shabbos. Sometimes there's Yom Tov that's in Shabbos, and on that Shmoneh Esrei we don't have a Vayechulu. If it's Yom Tov that's in Shabbos, we don't say Vayechulu in Shmoneh Esrei. But you don't want to miss out an opportunity of saying Vayechulu. So therefore we say it after, and in order not to be chalak from one Shabbos and the other Shabbos, we say it already every single Shabbos. V'gam, the second reason is lahoitzi l'mish eini yedea v'oimen oisa b'koil ram umud. You say it loud umud. So there's 2 reasons why we say a second Vayechulu. That there are some people, those days there was no Siddur printed. And there were people in Nebuch that didn't, they were illiterate. There were a lot of Jews that were illiterate. Vayechulu is very important, because if you say Vayechulu, you become a shutuf to the Eibishter, your sins melt away, so it's an important thing. So therefore, when everyone is going to say it loud, so the people that are Nebuch ignorant are going to listen. And Shemei Koina, they'll listen, and it's as if they said it. And then we say a third time when we come home, because the Bnei Bayis, the wife and the children, they were not in shul. So therefore we say it a third time for the Bnei Bayis. That's the Brut Simanei Shayin Aleph. So the Taz, continue in this paragraph. Kosav Taz, the Taz writes like this: Eidah Shleima Be'inin must be a full Eidah, means at least 10 Jews. 10 people. If an individual wants to say Vayechulu after Shmoneh Esrei, Lo Yiskaven L'Shem Eidus, he shouldn't have in mind that he's doing it as an Eidus. Only like a person who's reading it in the Torah. It's like very machmer. The Taz says that if you don't have a minyan and you're going to say Vayechulu after Shmoneh Esrei, then you have to have in mind that it's as if you're saying Parsha Zazinu. You're not saying it now as a testimony. It's also to say a testimony without 2 witnesses standing together. I understand how come the Taz didn't chap, but the Mogen Ram says. But what it says La Halacha, the 2 witnesses could say testimony separately. So maybe the Taz holds it's din in the foshes, or maybe I don't know what the Taz holds. But bottom line is the Taz says it's so mechumradik that Friday night, when you say, if you're going to say Vayechulu and you're not going to have a minyan, so you know what? Say it and have in mind. It's as if you're allowed to read the Torah. It's like you're reading Parsha Zazinu. There's a brocha. It's like reading Bereishis Shmois, but not that you're now saying the testimony. Because it's also to say testimony, a single witness. It's like a Chil Hashem. You're not allowed to do it. It's also to do it. That's why the Mishnah Berurah came up with the trick. The Mishnah Berurah says, you know what? Call over another guy and say with him. So it's as if 2 witnesses are saying it. The problem is that the Taz never said that. The Taz really holds it needs to be 10 people. And if there's no 10 people that you should say it, you shouldn't say it. But that was the idea of the Mishnah Berurah. You know what? If you don't have a minyan, at least chap one more guy and say it with them. It's as if 2 witnesses.
By Eidos, by Bezin, they wouldn't call them together. They call them.
That's the shaila against the Taz. That's what I'm saying.
See, I know I'm saying it here, but the Shulchan Aruch they also said it. The Shulchan Aruch they also said it.
Exactly. The Chayda, that's how Bezin works. That's the shaila of the Magen Avraham. He says that's not the way Eidos works. You don't have to walk together and talk. One person comes in one room and one in the other room. So one yid is standing in this shul, this shul, this shul, this house, on the whole globe, and it's mitzdarif to be one Eidos.
In our days, people have kavana when they said
that the same testimony?
Yeah, no, I don't think nobody. I never had kavana.
From today on, you're going to have kavana.
Yeah, ask anyone here. Nobody has kavana.
Okay. From today on, you're going to have kavana. That you're saying testimony that the Eibishter created the world.
We say it
When
because
you say Kiddush, what are you
Vayichulu.
saying? When you say Kiddush, what are you saying?
I tell you what, when I say Vayichulu, when I say Vayichulu, when you're a child, things go into your head. When I was a child, my father told at the table, or told me, the story of the Chosed Echad. I was very young, so whenever I come to Vayichulu, I know it's very, very serious. And I say it with it because yes, the Yankasa. Because I was a little child, my father told me the Ma'aseh b'Chosed Echad. So it left an everlasting impression.
What's the master?
That like I said before, that he passed away. His friend came to his dream. He said because he took it lightly. He said Vichulu, he's talking to his friend already because the happening is over.
Okay.
So
think about it.
Right. So the Magen Avraham says.
That's why we're here.
Exactly. That's why we're here. The emphasis. That's the way it is. The person can't be born knowing Kol HaTorah Kula. That's the way the Eibishter made it. The person forgets the Torah, but then we learn, and then we remember things, and that's important things. So there's a beautiful word that's said by the El Yerab. Why is it that the angels put their hands on your head and they take away your sin? He said because you didn't have to say witness to the Eibishter. So when a person, the din is that before, for example, if you do a get, so the Rav turns to the Eidim and say you have to be Mahar B'tshuva. Because if then a Rosh is Posel Eidus. If they're not going to be Mahar B'tshuva, it could be the whole get is Posel. So therefore, the Rav turns to the Eidim and says, you have to be Mahar B'tshuva. Sometimes even a Masada Kedushin will do that. But the Kedushin is not so, so... But still, you want to have kosher Eidim. So the Rav will turn to the Eidim and say, you should be Mahar B'tshuva. Because the din is, if you're Mahar B'tshuva, you become a Baal Tshuva. So Friday night, when a Yid is going to say Eidus, that the Eibishter created the world, for sure the Yid is going to have a Hirut Tshuva. You see why it's important to know this? So the angels say, look, Abolatar Messiah, so we have to help this Yid. He wants to be a pure aid, so therefore they come swooping in and they said, melt away all his sins. So he should be able to be a kosher aidus to the clear, to the world, that the Eibishter created the world.
That the Eidim has to be Shomer Shabbat?
Yes, for sure.
So ask him Tshuva?
Yeah, for sure. He has to be Shem Shabbos. Not Shem Shabbos is one of the strict things. You become a Rosh and Posel Eidus. Person that's Mechal Shabbos for is Posel Eidus. So, but Lechatchila has to be a Eidus has to be a very 100% a kosher Yid. So therefore, for sure, the Yid is Mahar B'tshuva. So the angels help us out, and they put their hand on their head and say, "Get rid of all your sins." Unbelievable pshat. This is from the El Yerab.
Which Malachim? Gabriel and Michael?
I don't know. There must be good ones. I'm not very good.
It's Michael and Gabriel.
Yeah, it could be. He turns into a good angel on Shabbos. So skip to the next paragraph. Koso b'shuchan aruch admei rezakten. Alter Rebbe writes like this: Achat filas lachash ba'arbis. After we say the quiet Shemon Esrei Friday night, noigem lachzem v'loim mar v'yechulu. We say a second time v'yechulu. V'noigem lomer kula yachel b'kol ram. We say it loud. Umid and standing. Because we're saying testimony about the Eibishter that he created the world. And the Eidim must stand when they say testimony. If you forgot to say it in shul, that when he says Veichul in Kiddush, you should stand. In other words, those days, not everyone used to stand by Kiddush. So, but they said anyway. They said Veichulu. But if you forgot to say the Vayechulu, so then make sure that you're standing by the Vayechulu that you're saying in Kiddush.
Faradim, Kiddush, Friday night they stand, Shabbat morning they sit down.
Right, they're standing because of the Vayechulu.
Yeah.
They're standing because of the Vayechulu.
But the Torah is done everywhere, no?
No, not some people by day. Some people stand, some people sit. But Friday night, it's today universal to stand. Why? Because of the Vayechulu. It's not because of the Kiddush. It's mainly because of the Vayechulu. Because we're saying Eidus, right? So the Alter Rebbe has their Kuntas Ach, and he writes like this: according to the Taz, who says that a person that's saying a B'yochid should have in mind that he's not saying the testimony. It's as if he's reading a Parsha in the Torah. Ain't tzorech lamed. You don't have to stand. You're having in mind that you're saying a Parsha in the Torah. Sherein lo miskaven l'shem eidus. You're not supposed to be miskaven l'eidus. V'enkin das amata Moshe v'Magen Avraham v'Shulchan Aruch shetzirichu lamud. But everyone disagrees with the Taz. How does the Alter Rebbe prove it? Because in Simon Reishayin Aleph it says that you should stand by Kiddush Friday night, because through that you're saying testimony to be moitzi your wife and your children. So we see that that you do have to stand. You see, you do have to stand. The Beis Yosef brings that the Olam is not so makpid, but really it's a testimony and they should stand. Mashma shemeroy hoyla hakpid lamed. Ava b'shein shavei d'shlema. V'hochi nog alma. The bottom line is it's universal minig. All Klal Yisrael, the Friday night by Kiddush, we stand. Why are we standing? For one reason, because we're saying testimony. So we see that even if you're saying it b'yochid, you should stand. But we see from the Alter Rebbe, he doesn't even say it. He doesn't even bother that you could say it b'yochid. It's not an issue. It's a non-issue. You could say it b'yochid. The Alter Rebbe's taina is just like Shmoneh Esrei, just like Kiddush, you say it b'yochid and you're standing. So why should that? There's 3 veichulos we say, and all for the same kavanah. So why should the middle one be different than the other 2? So it's not different. Even if you say b'yochid, you stand and you say it. The Alter Rebbe never thought of any eitzah about calling some other guy and saying with him veichulu.
Let's just say you were home by yourself on one Shabbos.
Say
You don't have to make Kiddush. You don't have to bring someone else with you.
Right, you don't have to bring someone else with you. You don't say Mein Sheva if you're home. At home, you don't say Mein Sheva. Mein Sheva, you only say with a minion. The next bracha, Baruch HaToshem, you only say with a minion. Fine. But Vayichulu, the Alter Rebbe holds, you say. Vayichulu, you say. The thing is, the Mishnah Brura holds like the Taz. He holds that it's, which is a very pelagic thing. Apparently, you have to understand what the Taz holds. Could be the Taz, because there's 3 Vayichulus we say. And the first and the third, we say it biyochid, and we have no problem, and we're standing. So could be he holds that the first one is a different thing, because it's a takon, it's a chilek b'shmoneh esrei. I don't know, you have to, and maybe Kiddush is a little different, because it's only for the Bnei Bayis. But Alter Rebbe holds that, no, all 3 Vayichulus, and you see, the same. And you see, by Kiddush, everyone stands. Why? Because they're saying Eidos. But there's no 2 people. What's if I'm a father and I have only daughters? Should I sit by Kiddush? No. Everyone stands by Kiddush. Because they're saying Eidos. So Zechariah, why? Because L'chatchila we should say Eidos, 2 people standing together. But if you know, it's fine. A person can say itself. The Alter Rebbe never says the Eitzah. Only the Mishnah Brura says you should call over another person. Why? Because the Mishnah Brura passes is like the Taz. That if you don't have another person, you should be feidish, have in mind that you're not saying it as a witness. So therefore, he has the eights of calling out another person.
Rabbi, Me'en Sheva, Magen Avot Bidvaro, Ashkenazim say it all loud, Sfaradim doesn't say it loud. What's the reason?
The Sfaradim don't say it loud?
No? Only the Chazan says
it, but they listen to it.
Only the Chazan.
Same thing.
So why is Ashkenazim saying all together?
So I asked him a good question. The Parsha is the Sfaradim are doing good because you're supposed to listen. The Magen Avot really was said that the Chazan should. The Ashkenazim don't say it. They just say the next part. And the Sfaradim don't say Magen Avot.
They're saying it, but the Chazan say it loud. And they say it quiet for you. For yourself.
I don't know.
Why does Sfaradim say most of the davening out loud and we don't?
Because it's beautiful.
So why don't you continue?
Okay, so let's summarize. Most poskim, the Alter Rebbe proves it logically that you could say Vayichulu even if you're alone and even without a minion, but you're supposed to stand. This bottom line is there's 3 Vayichulus we say, and we have in mind to testify that the Eibishter created the world. Versteht sich, it's better to do it with a minion. It's much better that Taka Friday night a person should try to daven with a minion. However, this is an interesting thing. The Chazon Ish, I probably never learned the Alter Rebbe, but he brings the Mishnah Brura. Mishnah Brura says that it's so important to say with a minion that if a person's davening, they should hasten up their davening to say Vayichulu with the minion. So the Chazon Ish says, how can you say davening b'kavanah is more important than anything? And he says, how can you say that you have to say Vayichulu with a minion? Yeah, all the time as the Alter Rebbe says, he says. He didn't see the Alter Rebbe, but he just says it. Anyway, Lamaisa, there's Rabbi Raskin, who was the Rav in Lubavitch Kehillah in London. It's a beautiful siddur. It's like a telephone book, 700 pages on the Alter Rebbe siddur. It's like a book like this. And beautiful stuff. And he says that the bottom line is, he's never seen that there were a lot of Chassidim Friday night daven barichas. My grandfather was telling me about his father. He used to daven Friday night 4 hours. Kabbalah Shabbos, 4 hours.
That makes Kalmach look short.
Yeah. So 4 hours Friday night to daven is ganz. There's no minion. That's,
When they make kiddush in the morning.
no.
They don't say Veichulu.
So they're not saying Veichulu with the minion. And the Elter Chassidim were not makbid to find someone to call them in to say Veichulu with them. He says there was taka one mashpia in Israel. He was a very famous mashpia. He was very beloved. His name was Shlomo Chaim Kesselman. And he used to daven in his private room. He used to daven. And then he used to call one of the bochrim from the dining room and ask them to come in and say with him Veichulu. Bottom line is there's no requirement to do it. But if someone does it because they follow the Mishnah Berurah, that's fine. But for Lubavitch, or even for not Lubavitch, Chaznish brings up at the same time as the Alter Rebbe. So next time, if you're going out of shul and your wife is waiting for you, that you should make Vayechulu for her.
Yeah.
Maybe just go home. Maybe just go home and make Vayechulu for your wife. And let the Yid know that he can say it at home, he can say it here. It's not,
We're very able to show for davening on time.
I got Urcha. I see over here. There's a from one Sheilos Tshuva. Interesting, but to bring from a lot of Sfardi poskim, asking should women also say it because women are not usually chayiv be'edus. And the bottom line is the Kaf HaChaim, one of the biggest poskim, latest poskim from Baghdad, writes. Kaf HaChaim, as I told you, one very important sefer. He wrote on Shulchan Aruch. It's like a Mishnah Berurah for Sfardim. But he says that Lamai said the women should say Vayechulu. The women should say Vayechulu. No, there are women that daven Friday night, and even if they don't daven, they should say Vayechulu. No, without their husbands. Yet said you don't have to say it with another person. So, anyways, to summarize, we have a special thing called Vayechulu. Our minhag is to say it 3 times. It's a saying testimony the Eibishter created the world. Some people have the Mishnah Berurah says that it has to be done be'edus, but the Alter Rebbe holds that you could do it be'yochid and you do it miyumid. There's all kinds of beautiful things that are surrounding this Vayechulu, like the Maisa b'chosed echad, and we have in mind that we're saying Eidus, the Eibishter created the world, and from this we're zoicha that taka the malachim put their hands on our head and melt away our sins. Just one more. Usually we like to have 3 Sheilos. A cute Sheilah that came up. There were kids in the Hebrew school. They were learning about Bikurim. It's this week's Parsha.
They were learning about
Bikurim. So they came. So the kid came next week with a basket with a couple of fruits, and he brought it to the Hebrew school. And he said he's bringing Bikurim. So now the teacher had a question. That if a person says today, we'll say a korban, says buy a sheep, and say this is a korban oila. What happens with that sheep? One of 2 things: either Mashiach comes and we're going to bring it to the Beis Hamikdash, or
Give it to the shul. Make a
no,
kiddush.
you can't make any kiddush with that. It has to go on the mizbeach.
Yeah.
it's not the same.
So
It's not my sir.
the Mishnah says in the end of Shkolim, Hamagdish Bikurim, Areza Kodesh, Shimon Omer Bikurim Kodesh, Einam Kodesh. They're not Kodesh. It's a machloikis. The malach is like Rav Shimon. Why? Because Rav Shimon holds, the Bartanura says that Rav Shimon holds. It says in this week's Parsha, Tovi Beis Hashem Alekecha. You have to bring it to the Eibishter's house. B'shas the Beis Hamikdash was built. A person could be Makdish Bikurim, but if he's not b'shas the Beis Hamikdash is built, a person cannot be Makdish Bikurim. So if a person picks up a basket of fruit says Bikurim, it's not Kodesh. If a person says a korban. Why? Because the Rambam says Ma'krivim korbanos af b'shein abayis bonut, because the Shechina is there. So if a person says this behem is a korban oila, becomes a korban oila. We don't have the mizbeach, and the wakf is not going to let you start going up there and make a mizbeach.
Why? I'm saying in the backyard you couldn't build your own mizbeach?
Chas v'shalom, that would be a boma.
Aha.
So you'd have to bring doing Yerushalayim in the place of the Beis Hamikdash. There's no way you could do it. So if you say a korban oila, you're stuck with that behemoth. But the Bikurim is Tovi Beis Hashem Lekecha. So there's no Beis Hashem Lekecha, so the Mamela, the answer is that those fruits are kosher, and the kids can make eights and enjoy the fruits.
In Israel, in the kindergarten, when they had the Bikurim, they make beautiful scenery. They bring baskets and with
It's
the
beautiful.
kid.
It's beautiful.
Very nice.
Very
In
important.
America, you don't see anything.
It's supposed to do it. If the kids should
It's
grow
nice,
up
they
understanding.
learn. Yeah.
Lechel mipirya, we're saying Lizboya mituva. The fruits of Eretz Yisrael have a certain sweetness in it. Okay. David shall helfen should be married in the simcha, and the smart and the simcha should bring us into the simcha, the gula mitzvah shlema, and the Mashiach tzedkenu.